Preparing live stream now.
Ready to start, Shelby?
It is now live streams.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the Otonabee Region Conservation Authority regular board meeting of May 21st, 2026. I'll call the meeting to order at 4:03 p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that we're on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Peoples for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Moving into our agenda, we have an approval agenda. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Director Wilford, Director Ashmore, all those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Do we have any disclosure of conflict of interest for this evening? Seeing none, please advise the chair if anything does arise. We have no delegations for this evening's meeting. Moves us along to item 5, 2026-023, our minutes of the meeting held on April 16th, 2026. Can we get a mover and a seconder for those minutes? Director Huntley, Director Black, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Do we have anyone that has business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we will move along. This is one of the most important parts of our agenda right now, and I'd like to call on Brenda Orchard. Brenda's joining us from CAMA. She's currently the president there. And Brenda has a special presentation we'd like to make to our CAO. So, Brenda.
Thank you so much for giving me the time on your agenda. So my name is Brenda Orchard. I'm actually the CAO in Lennox and Addington County here in Eastern Ontario. So we're neighbors. Hi, everybody. I have the privilege of being the Ontario Board Representative for the last 8 years, and this year I'm president of CAMA. So CAMA is the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators. We represent CAOs and city managers across the country, kind of like FCM represents the elected officials across the country. So we develop tools, training, supports, anything we can do to elevate the CAO profession and provide supports to CAOs for the difficult and challenging and important work that we have to do. So I'm really, it's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm sorry that Jeanette can't join us in our conference in Whistler, because if she was, she'd be on the stage getting a beautiful award. Do you have it with you that you can hold up to show them? She'd get her beautiful glass award that she has there. It's a 20-year recognition award for her service as a CAO, and I especially wanted to be here to thank her because it's important in our profession that we support each other, and she's been a great support to other CAOs across the country. She's been a friend to me. She has elevated our profession, and we really appreciate her. So it's my pleasure to virtually be there. I wish she could be with us in person to recognize her for the support that she's provided to all of us across the country and the contributions she's made over the last 20 years. I hope you're as proud of her as we are.
Thank you, Brenda. Those are great words, and I know I will speak for the board, and if any board members would like to chip in, Brenda, since Jeanette has come to the Autonomy region, we've greatly felt her professionalism and her abilities, and she's really led the team at Otonabee Region quite well. Most recently, with shared service with our neighboring conservation authority, she's taken on quite a bit, and sometimes I feel like maybe I've bitten off too much, more than I can chew, but she reels me back in, and we keep moving ahead. So we're definitely happy and glad that she joined us back a few years ago.
It's wonderful.
Does it? Thank you, Jeanette. It's much appreciated. I'll open it up. Does anyone have any quick comments that they would like to make? Yes, Director Taylor.
Thank you, Mike. Okay. This isn't going to work. Are we good? I don't usually get that kind of reaction. Thank you, Brenda. It's good to see you again. I don't know whether you recall, but a few years ago when I was warden for the county of Peterborough, you would be involved in some EOWC meetings, and we did connect there. I want to congratulate you, Jeanette. You certainly deserve this award. You're a credit to this organization. Yeah, as Brenda said, you're a credit to your occupation and all the people you work with. And it's been a pleasure working with you. I'm glad to see you recognized for the type of work that you do and the commitment that you bring. I just want to say congratulations. You deserve it.
Thank you very much. And I'm really happy to be here. This is a great organization to work with and to work with you and the staff and our community. So thank you very much. It was one of the things on my bucket list, what I was saying earlier, to get this, to be in the profession, to receive this award.
That's great. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Brenda, for joining us. You're welcome to stay for the rest of our exciting meeting, but I know you've got pressing things that you need to get, that you need to get to. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Moving along, that takes us to section B of our agenda. We have reports for approval. Our 2026 20 or 024 presentation of our 2025 draft financial statements. So we have our cover letter. Jeanette, do you have anything that you need to introduce with us, or shall we pass it right over to Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, this is just a cover a report to allow for the board to put the statements on the floor, so to speak, and to have our auditor speak to the reports. I will just also reference that the Finance Committee did have a meeting, and that meeting was on May the 4th.
Thank you. Yeah, I attended that meeting and was graciously elected chair of that meeting as well. Thank you, everybody. The Finance Committee, do you have anything before our presentation that you need to comment on? Otherwise, I will pass it right through. I don't see anyone. Adam, you're welcome to take the floor.
All right, thanks, Mike. And thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Adam Delchez, audit partner with BDO, handled the audit this year for the financial statements. Did you need me to share them, or does everybody have them in front of them and I can just run through, or how did you want me to do that?
Yeah, I'm just going to go a show of hands. Does anyone need it shared? Otherwise, we will just go with what's in front of us. I think we are okay, it looks like, to just
Okay.
go ahead.
Perfect. So I will just start working my way through. So the first pages I'll take you to are page 3 and 4, which are the independent auditor's report. I'll direct your attention to the first 2 paragraphs, which is the opinion paragraphs, which do state that we have audited the financial statements of Otonabee Region Conservation Authority for the year ended December 31st, 2025. And these financial statements include the statement of financial position, the statement of operations, the statement of cash flows, the statement of net changes in financial assets, as well as all the notes to the financial statements and the accounting policies. And in our opinion, these financial statements do present fairly in all material respects the operations of the organization as at December 31st, 2025, and they are in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. So it is what would be considered a clean audit opinion, and is the opinion that we expect to issue pending final board approval. The rest of the wording in the paragraphs on the rest of this page and the next page are just the standard wording for an audit report. We've made no changes, nor were any changes required for that wording, so we haven't made any changes there. Again, these paragraphs just really talk about the responsibilities of us as auditors, the responsibilities of management, and the responsibilities of those charged with governance. Okay, so moving on, page 5 is your statement of financial position. These are the assets and liabilities as at December 31st, 2025. So at that time, your total financial assets at the end of that year were 1.4 million compared to 946,000, with the main increase being in the cash line item, which is a timing related to what was on hand as payables, as well as funds that were on hand at the end of the year. Your financial liabilities are about 547,000, and your net financial assets were about 919,000 compared to 469,000. And your non-financial assets were sitting at about 10.1 compared to 10.3, with the main difference there being the amortization of tangible capital assets for the year ended December 31st, 2025. Overall, your accumulated surplus was just over 11 million compared to 10.8 million in the prior year, and that change we'll get into on the next couple pages. Page 6 is your statement of operations and accumulated surplus. So these are the revenues and expenses of the organization as at December, or for the year ended December 31st, 2025. See that total revenues were approximately 3.5 million compared to 3.3 million in the prior year, with the main increases being in the general levy line item, as well as in donations. Overall donations were a little bit higher, as were sales and rentals and other revenues for the year. Those were offset by drops in fees for service, as well as a few declines in the provincial funding line item. Overall, with that increase in revenues, there was also an increase in expenses. So total expenses, actually, sorry, there was a decrease in expenses. Total expenses were 3.3 million compared to 3.4 million in the prior year. So that led to an annual surplus for the year of approximately $246,000, which is up over last year where there was a deficit of about 97,000. So that surplus gets added to your opening accumulated surplus of 10.8 million, and you end up at the ending accumulated surplus of 11,075 million. Next page, which is page 7, is just your statement of changes in net financial assets. Again, this just kind of breaks down a little bit more details of the balances that changed the financial assets. Really relating to the tangible capital assets, you'll see the first couple line items are acquisitions of assets that were made during the year, the amortization, which is the large amount, as well as a loss on some disposals of tangible capital assets. Overall, the net change there was about 454,000 when it's added to your surplus. And then you take out the change in your prepaids. So you ended up with a net change in financial assets of about $450,000. So overall, that led to that increase because that gets added to your opening financial assets. So your net closing financial assets were 919,000 at the end of the year. Next page is just your statement of cash flows. These are your inflows and outflows of cash. I usually just direct everyone's attention to the third last line, which does show for this year there was an increase in cash of about 475,000, which again was the result of operations for the year, as well as the inflows and outflows of your balance sheet items, being with the majority of the increase being because of accounts payable on hand and timing differences at the end of the year. The rest of the pages are just the notes to the financial statements. I usually don't go through those in particular detail. I'll highlight that note 1 is the accounting policies. So these are the policies that the organization follows in order to be in accordance with public sector accounting standards. There hasn't been any significant changes to those standards this year. There will be some changes coming next year. So that will be something, actually, it might not be applicable for this entity until the following year. But there were no changes this year, so we didn't make any changes to these policies. And then the rest of the notes from pages 13 onwards are just the notes that support the balances that are included in the financial statements up to page 19. Or sorry, not 19. 18. And then 19 onwards is just program information broken down by the different programs. I will highlight note 13 does comment a little bit about the potential for the consolidation of the conservation authorities. This is a note that's been included in most financial statements for conservation authorities as we navigate what's going to happen there. Again, really just talking about the fact that it's been announced and there's no clear direction as to what's going to happen or anything that would affect these financial statements. So just that is disclosed there in note 13. But that is the financial statements. So happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Adam. Do we have any questions for Adam? We do have, actually, I'm gonna just move to receive for information the report, the presentation, and then we'll move into discussion. Motion to receive Director Watt, Director Huntley, all those in favor, just to receive for information, that's carried. So that'll just move us right into item B2, and we'll have discussion of our finance statement. Any questions at all for Adam? It is from the outlook, it's a positive audit with a good surplus for this year. No questions? Well, everyone did a great job then. Perfect. Jeanette, do you want to discuss if we're in B2, we're looking at this business case. Oh, sorry, I just looked up. Director Taylor.
Yeah, no problem, Mike. I guess when you're looking for comments, I just want to suggest that when the audit is this clean and there's a very large unanticipated surplus at the end of the year, I tend not to ask very many questions. If there's a big deficit, it would be a different story. So that might explain why nobody's got their hands up.
Yes, point taken. Jeanette, part of this is our business case acquisition in there. Did you want to speak any to that one again at all? I know the drone and related equipment.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff had applied for a grant. We were actually very hopeful that we would receive this grant. Other conservation authorities had received grants similar in this granting process. I did bring this request to the Finance Committee, and they approved it to come to the board for consideration. I did include a business case, which in the past we've used this process to consider in terms of things. So staff did work very hard last year, obviously representative of the surplus, which did also come from some gapping dollars and salaries as well. And so I felt that it was a good request still to bring to the board. I did canvass the other conservation authorities in the consolidated Eastern Ontario region. They don't have this type of a drone, so it would actually benefit the consolidated new regional conservation authority. And it's a tool that would be used across all of our programs, not just the obvious. We did find during the ice storm and the flooding that this in particular would have been useful for our emergency management communications as well. So that's the request that I'm bringing to the board for their consideration.
Thank you, Jeanette. Ron, go ahead, and then I have Joe. You're just on mute there, Ron.
Thanks through you, Mike, to Adam. Did the Conservation Authority receive any funding from the provincial government, like for the ice storm cleanup that helped us? Were there any funds that we received this year?
Jeanette, do you want to field that question?
I do, Mr. Chair. So the Conservation Authority was not able to access the funds that the municipalities could through that process. What we did do was access funds through our insurance coverage. And so we accessed about $100,000, and that in fact went a long way to the cleaning up of the ice storm. That plus our staffing resources that we used.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how conservation, like Kawartha Conservation or City Kawartha Lakes received like over $20 million, 25, $26 million, but I'm not sure if Kawartha Conservation received any or not, but anyway.
So just to clarify, that fund is not available to conservation authorities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What we did was we accessed funds through our insurance coverage to
Okay.
assist in the cleanup.
So the county Peterborough or city of Peterborough didn't receive any at all to help with conservation board authorities? Nothing, eh?
No, it didn't come through conservation authorities. It would have been directly
What?
through municipalities to help
Yeah.
municipalities with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, thanks.
I have Director Taylor and then Director Black.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jeanette. Otonabee South Monaghan Township made an application through the same fund for drone purchase, and we were successful. The purchase was through our emergency department. That was the avenue that we took, and we've got the drone. We've had the drone for a little while now. It's extremely valuable, and we're using it across a number of departments, not just in emergency services. But the question I had for you is the purchase of the drone is one expense, but then you have to train. In this case, we train two staff from our emergency services to operate this drone. So, do you have training dollars set aside for this, and do you have one or two staff members that are willing to take the training?
Jeanette?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the answer is yes. We actually have a number of staff who are very keen to use this equipment and very capable and willing to take the training. And we have operational dollars that would support that training.
Everyone's jumping around on me. There he is. Director Black.
Yeah, thank you through your chair. Yeah, this was brought up at the Finance Committee, and we chatted about it a fair bit. I had a question around ability to make purchases in this interim period with the change, and the answer was yes, we are allowed to. And I think, as Director Taylor mentioned, Finance Committee quite happy with the surplus this year after having a deficit last year, and that's a lot of hard work, some gapping and those sorts of things, but we felt that staff deserved to get the drone as part of improving operations for them, especially given the surplus that was generated for the year. So I support it.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions on our financial statements? Seeing none, I will read the recommended motion. Be it resolved that Report 2026-025, our 2025 audited financial statement be received, that the Board of Directors approve the 2025 audited financial statement, that the Board of Directors approve up to $50,000 from year-end surplus to purchase a drone for the authority's programs and services, and that the Board of Directors approve the balance net receivables to be invested at the Kawartha Credit Union, that the 2025 audited financial statements be posted to the authority's website and circulated to member municipalities and Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks as per the Conservation Authority Act, Section 38, and Ontario Regulation 422, and that staff be authorized and directed to do all things necessary to give effect to these resolutions. We get a mover and a seconder. Director Black, Director Huntley, all those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Again, Adam, I will extend the same gratitude. Thank you very much, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like, or
Yeah.
you can head out
I'll
early.
probably take off. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening, and congratulations, Jeanette. Well-deserved honor, I'm sure.
Thank
Award.
you.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, so that moves us right along to section C, reports for information. We have C1 2026, our 026 CAO monthly activity report, and I'll pass it over to Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm going to just start with that it is the start of our season for all of our monitoring programs. Things are up and running, which is wonderful. All of our seasonal staff are hired and trained through the orientation program that we offer. And we have also opened the two campgrounds, Warsaw and Beavermead Campground, and the marina at the city of Peterborough. So all of those services and programs are up and running, which is a lot of work and also a lot of fun that staff have. The second point I do want to highlight is we have prepared the 2027 draft operating and capital budget. It is going to be coming to the board at our next meeting. It is now prepared at a zero increase. That zero increase does accommodate the step increases for staff and a small COLA as well. That was everything else is status quo within the budget, but it is a zero increase. We're just actually waiting for the calculations. So MECP does provide all the conservation authorities with the apportionment calculations, and that's what we're just waiting for. Otherwise, I would have brought it today. And the last piece is the consolidation. So this is very much moving forward. There is a following the May meeting that the chair did participate with myself, is a number of information requests that the consultants are gathering. Again, Otonabee conservation is in a really great place in terms of meeting all of the requests for the information that the consultants are asking for. I feel very confident about that. And we also have an interview. They interview myself on a series of questions. So all of those things are in motion. And we anticipate the transition committee meeting starting in July in terms of things. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
Thank you, Jeanette. Any questions, comments for Jeanette? Director Boyko?
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I'm just wondering, in that May meeting, are there still authorities that are fighting this and thinking there's a chance that this may not happen, or are all acquisite, believing that now is the time to begin rowing the boat?
The May meeting was very much an information meeting from MECP. There wasn't a whole lot of ability to have any back and forth so much. Questions were put through a question app on the virtual meeting, so we didn't get a whole lot of sense there because we didn't have that interaction. I would say there's still mixed feelings out there on the consolidation, but it is definitely moving forward. They have timelines that they're going to meet and progress that way. The Jeanette had sent out the application for the project executives has already been sent out, and it closes on the 25th, I believe, and the period for that, the window was only 10 days. So that kind of gives you the idea of how quickly this is going to move and how they want to keep with the timeline that they're looking at to meet that February 2027 changeover. It's really all I can give you right now. Jeanette, I don't know if you have anything much else. No.
Thank you.
No, it doesn't give you a whole lot there, John,
That's okay.
but there is, I do know there is still some mixed feelings out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Director Black.
Just a question around the board timing again. I think we were told that we would be running into January with our existing board. I was talking to somebody that was on the Kawartha board last night, and they said they were told November 14th they were done. Is there any news on or confirming around the extension of the current board's time as we were told in the past?
I have not heard anything about a November 14th date at all. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I am aware that this board will continue until the consolidation of the new board.
Right.
That is the only information that we have received.
And into January, through you, Jerry, into January is what you believe it to be.
It'll be right into when the new regional board is struck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be the transition. So it's looking at February 2027 is their timeline to meet that. So until that time, unless a municipality changes their appointment to this board will remain.
Okay.
Director Ashmore,
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, just regarding what Director Boyko and CAO said there about mention about the other conservation authorities. I know our last council meeting here, City Kawartha Lakes, on Tuesday and the 19th. There was a letter from the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority and the CAO there, Mark Maczewski, and the board on that board. They seem adamant that they want to fight this and they want to get a special report from our CAO, Ron Taylor, to write. And so I don't know. There seems to be a lot of pushback from KRCA right now. I just sort of giving you the heads up, but I mean, they don't seem to want to work with what we have now. So, it's moving ahead, whether you like it or not, but that's sort of that's what's happening over here. And this, I mean, I'm not privy to what goes on in there. I'm not a member of it, but I mean, we have 3 of the members on our council, so they seem quite adamant that it's not very good, and they're pretty headstrong to stop it if they can. So just giving you the heads up. Don't think they're going to be successful, but I mean, they have their right to their opinion, but that's sort of where it's at right now over here.
Yeah, I don't think I think you're right that some areas, just like I said, there's still mixed feelings about it, and
Yeah.
I feel it kind of boils down to leadership within boards and leadership within organizations to really inform the members, what's going on, what are the changes going to be, how is it going to be affected, and how municipalities can use this as a positive to make some changes that are necessary. So that's sort of where my mindset
Yeah.
is with it. So
No, I mean, this organization is, to me, it's a lot more positive than what I hear on the council table from over there. So that's whatever. But hopefully, they'll come around in time. But like I said, they have a right to bring up these issues, but they seem adamant that they want to prolong the issue. So, or fight it, for lack of better words, I guess.
yeah, thanks, Ron.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Jeanette, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will take the opportunity to again invite if directors would like me to come to a council meeting. I have already had an invitation from Director Wilford's council to come to his council to talk about the consolidation. I'm putting that invitation and that offer out. You just let me know and I'm happy to do that.
Thank you, Jeanette. Any further comments or questions? The resolution reads, be it resolved, the board report number 2026-026, CAO Secretary Treasurer Monthly Activity Report be received for information. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Director Wilford, Director Taylor, all those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Moves us along to item C2. We have our communications and media summary. believe this one is fairly straightforward. Does anyone have any comments or questions? I'm always happy to see the analytics and see where we're at. It's nice to see that we're getting some views and that the message is getting out there. So I do applaud Shelby and the team for doing that and keeping up with all of the socials that some of us would find dreading to do if we had to. Director Wilford.
Just the same comments, Mike. Our council has a lot of members on council really like the media reports that Orca is putting out on different events and things they're doing. They really like it, so that's a plus right there.
Thank you, Pat. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I will just entertain a motion to receive. Director Ashmore, Director Watt, all those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And it moves us right along to correspondence. Similar to that of communications, everything is right there in front. We had a discussion, a little bit of a discussion on the consolidation, which is some of this correspondence that we received. Is there any questions or comments related to any of our correspondence that anyone has? Of course, at any time, reach out to Jeanette or myself if you have questions regarding any of that. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to receive our correspondence this evening. Director Black, Director Boyko, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Moves us to open forum. Does anyone have anything for open forum? Director Watt.
Thank you very much, you, Mr. Chair. A question that I've been asked a couple of times, and I may have brought it up before, and I apologize if I did, but the Indian River from Warsaw, let's say, all the way down to Rice Lake. I've never traveled a canoe. A lot of people did, whatever, kayaks, canoes, and so on. With the last two storms, I'm told there's a lot of trees have been fallen into the river, fallen down. It's not able to be transversed anymore. And their question is, whose responsibility is it to clean that up? Is it the abutting landowners? Is it the conservation? Is it Trent Severn? And I honestly can't answer that question. I don't know. If there's any information someone here may have that I could pass on, and I know it would be a big project, it would be an expensive project, so I can't see it being done quickly, but it is a valid question.
I don't know that answer. I do know when we have beaver dams, there's a protocol generally for that. But Jeanette, do you have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Director Watt, the Conservation Authority wouldn't have jurisdiction for the whole river to clean that. It would be more the landowners that are abutting the actual portion of their of the river, and if their desire is to clean up their portion, there isn't any jurisdiction that I'm aware of that would actually have it through the whole river. And if there's any questions, so sometimes people call to ask if they need a permit to do those types of things. And we work with them mostly around education, because sometimes it does create erosion issues or create further erosion issues. So we're happy to answer any questions if you want to be able to pass anyone over to us, just to call our main line, and we'll be able to navigate those questions for you in terms of things.
Thank
But
you
I'm not
very-
aware of any one agency that's aware that would have that mandate.
Thank you, Director Taylor.
Thank you, Mike. Tom, unfortunately, because Indian River flows right through that wonderful village of Warsaw that you've been applauding here all day long, it's actually the municipal responsibility. Daryl Dummer has to clean up Indian River. Did you not get that memo? Yeah, it's it's you guys. I did want to say on open forum that And I find this really confusing. This is not a conservation authority issue at all. But throughout the spring and the extremely high water that we had, and that was not a surprise to anybody, Trent Severn had a series of actually 3 times a week we were meeting. The Conservation Authority participated in that. And I am really and throughout that process, I was really supportive of the water level management that Trent Severn did. I think they minimized the extent of the damage. We knew there was going to be high water. We knew there'd be flooding. But I got to tell you, I have no idea why they let all the water in the Otonabee River and Rice Lake out to the point now where it is lower than summer level. It's scary. I have no idea why they were in such a hurry to get rid of all. Water is such a precious commodity, and when it's gone, you can't get it back. And so I'm hearing now from resort owners and private property owners along the lake and the river squawking about the water. And it's I don't understand it. And I know that's not an issue, a conservation authority issue. I just want to vent a little bit because I happen to live in Rice Lake, and I don't know why it was managed this way.
Yeah, water management with Trent Severn has sometimes been a bit of a challenge over the years, and we have a marina right at Hastings, the municipal marina, and our boat launch last week had to get canceled because of the smaller boats were the only ones that could get in because of the low water level. We were able to get back to that this week because the water level had rose enough to do that, but there were some challenges with that. Director Wilford, I saw your hand, and then Director Black.
Just a quick comment to Tom's query about the river. We have the Ouse River that goes through the village of Asphodel, Norwood here, right here, and we had some issues, and we just called Janet to see if there was a problem with it, and thankfully there was no problem with the neighbors and our municipal staff removing some of this stuff, because stop and think, a lot of these sensors that we have will not get proper readings with the water dam back.
Yeah.
And that's throughout the summer also.
Thanks, Pat. Director Black.
Yeah, through just a quick comment. The water in Clear Lake is up about 9 inches over the last 2 days, so you've got water coming.
Perfect. Any other comments? Seeing none, we have no closed session, and our next meeting of the board will be June 21st, 2026, with a few items brought forward on that for approval. And with that, at 4:45, Tom, you're going to make your appointment. I'll call for an adjournment. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Director Watt, would you like to move the adjournment? Director Huntley? All those in favor? That is carried.